When I work with my clients, I ask them for a demo of every song that we're going to be working on that project. And it's really important. I'm going to be honest with you. As a music producer, it's essential for the process. Why is it important? Well, it's important because as an artist, you need to get your vision across to many different people. So not just music producers, but bandmates, engineers, even videographers, if you're trying to onboard them before you've got your main production done and that sort of thing. It's just a really good way for everyone to conceptualize what you're after musically. And for things like videographers, how their visuals can complement your music. Your demos, they don't have to be massively high quality. A lot of clients will send me phone footage from rehearsals. I generally advise them to try to dampen off things like cymbals and stuff like that, so it doesn't become just a wash with cymbals. I'm going to use an example from a band called Machina. The song is called Neurasthenia, and we haven't gone into production yet with this. It's purely the demo. So I understand that a lot of artists don't have access to a recording studio. This is obviously going to be a lot more high quality than I normally receive at the best of times. But I like to produce demos to this quality so I can get my artistic vision through to anyone within the project, singing off the same hymn sheet, okay? Not literally. I hope, anyway. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to start with an overview of the song, the arrangement and stuff like that, and then we'll dig into the individual elements like each instrument and any kind of effects and vocals and things like that. Let's dig into Neurasthenia. So here's the song. I won't play you the song in its entirety, otherwise this will become a very long video. But I just want to run through the arrangement. So we have an intro, and then I've marked here the guitar, and then we go into a pre-chorus, then a guitar solo, then a second verse, then a second pre-chorus, then a chorus, and then an ending, and then it ends. I'll play you a little bit of each section so you get an idea of the song itself. So the intro starts like this. So that's the intro, and then we go, the guitars get introduced. Why did you come to save me? The shadow consumes us all. Besides, your fear and taste so healthy. From there we go into a pre-chorus. There we go into a guitar solo. Now, what you'll notice about this guitar solo, hopefully you've noticed, is that the tempo here changes. It goes from 115, so within this section here, which bar 56 to 62. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 6 bars where the tempo goes from 115 to 150. And this guitar solo is essentially just a chorus with a guitar solo over the top. And we've got some time signature changes. We're going from 3/4 to 5/4 to 4/4, 3/4, 5/4, and we've got some 6/4s in there and stuff like that. I won't dig too much into that, but that's that guitar solo. And then from that guitar solo, we go into a second verse, and it's basically what I call a power version of the verse previously, but it's also at that one, everything is at that 150 tempo. So I wrote this song, my mindset of it was to have a song of two halves. So there's a calm at the start, then it goes bang. So there's a big thing. So even the verse is up. Okay. So so that's that, and then it goes into a pre-chorus. And then from there, it goes into a chorus. And then from there, it goes into the ending, which is... And that's the basic kind of structural arrangement of this song, with all the different tempo changes and time signature changes and things like that. Let's move on to the individual instruments and elements of this song for you. Let's start with the drums. The drums, they're sampled drums. I'm not going to get a drummer in for a demo, but the full production, I will have a drummer in. And I will give that drummer this version with the drums and a version without the drums. And then I expect that drummer to have... to put their own stamp on it. I expect them to do something better than what I've programmed in. Okay, so this song has two distinct drum kits. He's got an electric kit at the start, at the very beginning, and then about halfway through, I think when the pre-chorus comes in from memory, that's where the acoustic drums kick in. Let's go to the start here and just hear the electric drums. So I'm using Superior Drummer 3. The snare is actually that kind of knocking sound, this kind of wood sound, and then you've got the kick. Then we have these hi-hat sounds, which gives it some really nice kind of saturation-y, kind of really nice space in there. So it's kind of like a 1632, something like that. So it's kind of what I would consider to be a hi-hat, even though it's very loosely based on a hi-hat. So when you mix these elements with the synths, it sounds I really like it. That's those elements there. And then once we get into the pre-chorus, obviously a different instance, I'm using Andy Sneap kit, which I think it's just a standard preset that comes with Superior Drummer. I think it sounds great. For a demo, it's brilliant. So so this will be the drums that I use from then on. The actual kind of program of it, or the mapping of it, looks a bit like this. So that's essentially the drums. if you wanted to hear some of the harder stuff. Just to show you, what I have found with Superior Drummer is that the time signatures don't translate very well if you follow a host. So I've had to map those in. If you want, in the comments, let me know and I'll do a tutorial video of how to map drums in Superior Drummer if you like. Next, we have the bass. Now, this is me playing the bass. It kicks in here. That's how it sounds. It's very laid back, and then as we get into it, it gets a bit more busy. There and into the verses here. Because I wanted to encapsulate the kind of the chaos, so it becomes a lot more busy in general. Because this is a demo, I'm not going to put huge amounts of production value into it. So I'm running it through a Sans amp and then through a channel strip. I like using channel strips because they just make life easier in general because everything's there. On bass guitars, I like this AMAC 9099. It's got it from Brainworks. It just works really well for bass guitars. So, but I've also got this ending bass guitars. This bass is obviously, I've let that kind of fade out, and then we've got this one here, which a lot of artists would be like, oh, well, I'll just copy and paste what I did before. I'm not massively happy with that. So it would have been easier to just take that and pop that here. But I wanted something a bit more laid back, if that makes sense. So I played that instead. That's essentially the bass guitar. And that's got the same treatment as the first one. Moving on to guitars. Right, we'll start with rhythm guitars. I have two different types. Obviously, I've got clean guitars and then I've got dirty guitars. Clean guitars, they sound a bit like that. So they are finger-picked guitars, and I'm running them through this, what is it, Showtime, I think it's called, by Universal Audio. Yeah, Showtime is 64 amp. So it's basically like, I think it's like a Fender Twin, but it's got a great sound to it. So I've run that through there. I think I'm doing this. Oh yeah, no, the same thing. It's just got a ribbon mic on the front of it. So similar to how I would record clean guitars, essentially. I try to keep this as close to what I would use here. So this though, and then I'm just putting it through a 4KE from SSL and done a little bit of EQing and some dynamics. What am I using? No dynamics. Purely just the EQ. I'm not compressing or anything on that. Obviously, didn't feel the need to. Also should add, these clean guitars they're two performances panned left and right. They're not quite hard left and right, and that's because I wanted the synths to be right on the out. Pulling the guitars in a bit, it leaves a bit more room for the synths to sit there. When we come into the high gain guitars, they're panned, hard panned, 100% left and right. On the left, I am using a Diesel VH4 on channel 4, Tool-esque type amplifier. And then on the right, I've got this from Stephen Slate. It's a boosted rectifier, which I have here. Again, trying to keep it as close to what I've got here rig-wise. And the mics I'm using on the cab are SM58 and a 414, which is essentially this mic. This is how I record high gain guitars, and then just a bit of EQ on there just to give it a bit more clarity. And they sound a bit like this. So this is the Diesel. And then this is the rectifier. And that's them together. Again, I've not really, I mean, there's still zero volume. I've not even changed that. I do all of that sort of thing in the channel strip. So if I need to pull it down a bit or pull it up a bit, that can come up a bit just to level that out a bit. So, and again, I'm just literally purely the EQ. I didn't want to get into compressing loads and all the rest of it. This is quick and dirty mix, as you could say. That's the high gain guitars, and then we've got some lead guitar, and again I've got the boosted rectifier with some digital delay going into a digital reverb overall, and then the octaver and the crybaby wah comes into play, I think, at the end from memory, and again that's just going into a 4K E. That, and then so just to show you, so if you look here, these two should kick in for this guitar solo. So basically the crybaby is automated into there we go, into here like that, just to add that wah sound. Moving on from there, we have the synths. Now, I'm not massively synth based as an artist. I will tend to use presets and adjust them to the track itself. I like this Anna 2 from Stephen Slate on this. So see that. It's just, that's step sound, that dum ba dum ba da 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 dum, getting some nice movement in there. And as I said earlier, it fits well with the drums. That's absolute art as a preset. And I'm not doing anything EQ wise with that. The second instance is this. Now, I've got the Anna 2, which is a 1985 tape. And that by itself, because I've also got a tremolo panner and a ring modulation in there. This by itself is literally just that. And then if I bring in the tremolo panner, that, and then I put a ring modulation over the top, and that gives it some really nice movement within the sound, so it's a wah 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 sort of thing, which is great. The other thing that I'm using an Anna 2 on, and this is more of an effect, leads nicely onto effects actually. This is just a little on there. It's just a little riser on there just to give that transition a bit more oomph, as it were. And I'm just using an imager just to push that further out, probably because of these guys. I've got a cymbal there as well. So the two together there. So the cymbal's at 100, and then that synth is just that bit further out, just to give that a bit more room. And the reverse cymbal is purely a reverse cymbal. If you just bounce down a cymbal hit from Superior Drummer and then just reverse it, and it makes a great effect. Again, in the comments, let me know if you want a tutorial on how to do reverse cymbal effects and transitional effects in general. I'll make you a video. I'm happy to do that. The other effect is a bass drop, which if you're listening to this on small speakers, you might miss it because it's really down in the subs. But again, really simple stuff to actually make yourself, just from a signal generator and stuff like that. Easy peasy stuff to make. And I'm not doing anything with that EQ wise or anything like that. It's just there. Moving on to vocals now. Vocals, what I like to do on demos with vocals is just to throw everything in. In general, what I do is throw everything in, because what I want to do is strip things out. Anything I think, okay, that's just bang unnecessary, I'll just strip that out. Vocals wise, what I tend to do is I'll have this from Waves as a vocal rider. This is my chain for demos. A vocal rider on there, and then into again the SSL 4KE, and it looks like I'm doing some compression and some gating and stuff like that. That's purely just to keep things in check, really, and bring the vocals out more. What I've got is a main vocal, a double of the main, and then what I call an aggressive vocal. And I've got some harmonies and some oohs and ahs and that sort of thing. Should probably have a little fade in there like that. So to give you an idea, let's give you whatever lies within. So that's that, and then we've got lies within, and then we've got the double. lies within. And then we have whatever lies within. A low harmony. Whatever lies within. And then 2 low harmonies. And then the whole thing. Whatever lies within. Like that. Is hidden by the darkness. Why have you come to save me? Yeah, that's all the way through that. Is it the same? Shine a light, shine a light for me. Again, with the low harmonies, but we've got these backing vocals with it. Shine a light, shine a light for me. So we've got a high and yeah, so we've got, I think it's a third and a fifth over the doubles. So shine a light, shine a light for me. Shine a light, shine a light for me. Like that. That sounds nice. I like that. And this is all sung. There's no auto-tune on this. The only thing that's on here are some vocal effects, but I'll get onto those in a sec. Yeah, I haven't like copy and pasted and then pitched it or anything like that, which might be an easier way of doing it, but I don't want that in the final production. So I'd much rather do it in front of a mic, and then I've at least I know that I can hit the right notes and things like that vocally, and it's something I can carry through into the main production. All that's left is the harder stuff when all the band kicks in. So again, we've got the doubles. Track through the dirt, swimming through light. But we've got this hard, what I call a hard. Track through the dirt, swimming through lies. Your savior has left us drowning. He's left us all behind. The doubles are lower in the mix than the aggressive. I don't do screaming. It's not really me as a singer or as an artist. I'm not banging to the screaming stuff, so it wouldn't make sense for me to even try it. But that's more aggressive. No one has come to save you, corrupted by billionaires. All this disease is eating the flesh. Where is the love? So, and then we've got some. Where is the light? Again, the same kind of harmonies. And then when we get into the main chorus. Endure this for the last time. Like that. Sacrifice. That's our last hope. Basically, what I've done here is I've just kind of done the last part of that phrase and whack that in to just give that a bit of a boost. Last time. So closing in. Yeah, it's just like the tail end of each phrase and then a harmony. like that, and I'll probably tidy that up when we come to do the production itself, that sort of thing. And that is essentially the vocals. That is essentially the song itself. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you've learned a little bit of something about how to demo out your songs. The kind of the overriding thing is, I think, is to get as many ideas in as possible and go from there. You're much better to strip stuff out than to have it kind of left wanting, as it were, if that makes sense. So anyway, if you could subscribe, like, and comment and all that sort of thing, I would really appreciate it. It really does help the channel to give you more content like this if you've enjoyed it. And hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Have a good day and enjoy.